Okay, YouTube folks, hopefully we have good, clean, buzzless audio, and we are good to go. I think we've got everything in place, ready for the net, so we've got about 4 minutes here to chill. It has been a crazy busy week, and it was a particularly interesting evening last night troubleshooting this issue with the audio. Um, I had ordered some 6-foot audio cables, XLR microphone cables, for positioning equipment on this new desk. And, the Hosa brand cables that I typically use were 14, 15, 16 bucks a piece for 6-foot cables. And usually when I buy microphone cords, I'll buy like a 6-pack for 30 bucks or something of that nature. And I got plenty of 25-foot microphone cords around, but I need just a few feet to get from the mixing console to the direct boxes where all of the microphones for the headsets are at. So I don't need 25 feet to go 4 feet across the desk. The 6-foot cable gives me enough to route through and around, and just, it's a nice length of cable to have for an installation of this nature. But apparently the cables that I purchased are junk. When I got them, I noticed that the XLR connectors on them weren't Nutric, and they weren't Canon. They were, I don't know what they are. They're plastic. They're not plastic, but they are very cheap. And I wasn't really thrilled about that, but they plugged in, they fit well, everything that seems to be important seemed to work. But these cables, I'm gonna speculate that maybe it's exposed copper. It's probably not even copper, it's probably aluminum. But whatever it is, the material has degraded in very short order, and the cables have become very noisy. I went through the whole package of cables that came with that order. They're all noisy, every one of them. So I've had them long enough that I don't think I can return them, but I have reached out to the manufacturer, and it's pretty disappointing that something would corrode that quickly. If they tell me that they're not going to take them back or whatever, then I'm going to take them apart and see just exactly what it is that happened in there, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to step out for just one moment. I'll be right back. All right, boys and girls, back. I had to make sure that there was an adequate supply of lubrication for my throat. Okay, it is time to go, so let's do this thing. Good evening, and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. I'll be working off the Pine Log repeater this evening, but we'll be networked in with Sassafras, Somerville, Ball Ground, Crawford, Lookout Mountain, Jersey, Madison, McDonough, Columbus, Noonan, Zebulon, and VoIP. Tonight, our RF coverage is approximately 31,000 square miles. This net takes place every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. I'd like to thank everyone who has made the North Georgia GMRS the most expansive and active GMRS network in the country. Let me break. Your net control tonight is Atlanta 946, WQIR 514. My name is Justin, and I'm located at Studio B here in Woodstock, Georgia. On the net, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything you think we'd like to hear about. This is a family-based network, so we would encourage you to get your family involved. Once the floor is open, it is permissible to address other members of the net by their name or tactical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in and sign out of the net. When signing in, please speak slowly and clearly as you give your tactical unit number, your name, your call sign, and your location. At this time, I'll take check-ins. Any VoIP check-ins, please call Net Control now. All right. Made it this far. Let's see if I was actually on the air.
Noonan 59.
Maybe.
Michael from Forest Park, Georgia.
Whoops. Forest Park.
Net Control, this is Atlanta 403, WRAT 241, Port Charlotte, Florida.
Okay, at this time, Net Control will acknowledge Noonan 59, Michael in Forest Park. It's great to hear from you this evening, Michael. Looking forward to talking with you once we get back to the top of the list. And I also have Atlanta 403, Bobby in Fort Charlotte, Florida. Thank you, Bobby, for checking in with us this evening. Glad to hear from you. Hope everything is going well for you down at the port or the fort or the bort or whatever it is that you're in. Do we have any additional Zello check-ins? This will be our last call for VoIP check-ins. Got to give them a minute because sometimes it's hard to get that push to talk. I've been there. Okay, hearing no additional VoIP check-ins, we'll go ahead and move on to any visiting transient licensed GMRS operators or any new members of the North Georgia GMRS network. This is anyone who is a licensed GMRS operator that is not a member or who would like to check in, or any new members or any youth members 18 and under. Please call Net Control now.
This is Atlanta 136, WRCR 229, in Aden and Tucker, Georgia.
Net Control acknowledging Atlanta 136, Aden in Tucker. You're sounding fantastic tonight, Aden. Looking forward to talking with you here in just a little bit. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and take Pine Log check-ins. Anyone wishing to check in on a Pine Log repeater, and of course guests and visitors are still welcome to check in. Pine Log guests or visitors, please call Net Control now.
This is Alpharetta, in and out. This is 253 WQNV 274, Donald from Blairsville, Georgia. This is Atlanta 420, William in Roswell. This is Noonan 25, Joe, and by relay Noonan 26, Mary Catherine. We are WRCL 957 via Zello in Fayetteville, Georgia. Need to be short time tonight. Good evening, all. This is Somerville 10 WQWW 603 Alex Canton, portable. This is
Atlanta 0 WRCD 598, Jesse out of Lilburn, Georgia.
This is 7 WQZC 882, Andrew in Holly Springs. This is
Atlanta 180, WRBT 591. This is Mike and Carrie Log.
This is Atlanta 275.
Okay. Had some tough copies in there, but I think we got them all. Let me go ahead and acknowledge what we've got. At this time, Net Control will acknowledge what we have so far. We had some tough to copy calls in there, and we had a number of people try a number of times. Man, I sure appreciate you folks being patient and calling out that this is, and when you hear something, you wait. I've noticed several people being very patient with their check-ins tonight, and that's good stuff. So let me go to where I left off with Aiden. He was my last check-in. Next on my list is Atlanta 40, John in Alpharetta. John, I've got you as in and out. Thank you, John, for checking in with us. It's great to hear from you. Hope all's going well. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 253, Donald in Blairsville. It's great to hear from you, Donald. Looking forward to talking with you here in a little bit. And William, I heard you try several times. This is, and you finally got in there. Atlanta 420 in Roswell. Appreciate your patience. Noonan 25 and Noonan 26, Joe and Mary Catherine in Fayetteville. I've got you in here as in and out, acknowledging your short time this evening. You busy folks. Glad that you took the opportunity and the moment to check in with us. Hope that you're able to monitor, and I hope that all is going well. Hope the studies are going well for Mary Catherine, and looking forward to her completion of that program and scoring that that awesome degree at the end of the year. Next on my list, I have Somerville 10, Alex in Canton. It's great to hear from you on the portable. Thank you for checking in with us tonight, Alex. And next I have another patient check-in, Atlanta 170, Jesse in Littleburn. Appreciate that. Looking forward to talking with you. Atlanta 57 also made several attempts and finally got in there. Thank you, Andrew, for checking in with us from Holly Springs. Atlanta 180, Mike from Cherry Log. Had a tough copy on you, Mike, but I got you in there. Looking forward to checking in with you here in a little bit. And last on my list was another tough copy, but I believe I heard Atlanta 175, Ken in Canton. Ken, it's great to hear from you. Hope all is going well, and looking forward to hearing of your adventures real soon. Do we have any additional Pine Log check-ins, any guests, any visitors? Please call Net Control now.
This is WRCT 399, Atlanta 261. Checking in, and relay Atlanta 262, if I could do that, 263,
and 264. They are in the house, and I'm on the front driveway, checking in. Thank you, Net Control.
Okay, Net Control acknowledging Atlanta 261 Scott in Holly Springs, checking in from the driveway. And if you would, please go ahead and give me the names associated with 262, 263, and 264 so that I can get them in the log.
Roger that, Net Control. I really appreciate it. This is Atlanta 261 Scott from Holly Springs. Atlanta 262 Jane from Holly Springs. Atlanta 263 Jennifer from Holly Springs. And the elusive, although she's under the weather, Atlanta 264 Cassidy from Holly Springs. I really appreciate it there.
Outstanding. I have all of those relayed check-ins in the log. Appreciate that, Scott, and looking forward to catching up with you and any of those family members that are willing to come on the air when the time comes around. Any additional Pine Log check-ins, guests, or visitors? Call Net Control now. All right. Hi, YouTube folks. Any issues? Is the audio good? Bobby, will you shoot me a text and let me know what your assessment is? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. Okay, hearing no additional Pine Log check-ins, we're going to go ahead and move on, and we're going to take check-ins from any repeater anywhere. Anyone wishing to check in to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net, please call Net Control now.
WQMN 733, Atlanta 36, Bill on the Taylor's Ridge machine.
WQNB 686, Jim in Cedartown. Checking in through Sassafras. Good evening.
Atlanta 438 WRHW 6 Sassafras in Miami Falls, Georgia.
This is Noonan 29 WRCU 796, Marty and Tyrone on the Noonan repeater.
Ah, look at that.
This is McDonough 22, WRCR 952 on the handheld in Stockbridge, Georgia. This is Tim on the mighty McDonough repeater.
All right, you guys don't have to look at me. You can look at the log. I should have done that like 8 minutes ago. Okay, at this time, Net Control will acknowledge these additional check-ins. I have Atlanta 36, Bill, checking in on the Taylor's Ridge machine. It's great to hear from you tonight, Bill. Looking forward to conversing with you here in a little while. Next on my list, Atlanta 350, Jim in Cedartown, checking in on the Sassafras repeater. You sound good tonight, Jim. Next I have Atlanta 438, Garrett in Monument Falls. Thank you for checking in tonight, Garrett. Looking forward to talking with you. And I have Noonan 29, Marty in Tyrone with Adventures at Home Depot. Looking forward to hearing all about the mailbox. Next I have McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge. And Tim may or may not have installed a new mailbox today. We'll find out. Do we have any additional check-ins? Any repeater anywhere? Please call Net Control now. All right. I heard Comer, Georgia. I think that was CW15.
This is Atlanta 780 WKUV 439 Houston and Austell. Just to check me in and out tonight, please, sir.
All right. Okay. Okay, Net Control is going to acknowledge what I've heard at this point. I believe that was CW15, David in Comer, Georgia. If that isn't correct, you'll have to come back and give me a correction. I really hard time hearing that, but I believe that's what I heard. Next on my list is Atlanta 780 Houston in Austell. Houston, I've got you in and out tonight. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate your short time, but it's always good to hear from you. So hope that you and Mona are doing well. Okay, so I think I've beaten this horse to death. We'll go ahead and go to the top, and then if we have anyone else that wishes to check in, we'll have an opportunity when we come to the end of the list for additional check-ins. But this now brings me to the top of the list at Noonan 59, Michael in Forest Park. Michael, I've heard you on the air several times this week. How are you doing? All right.
New 59 WRHS, please visit. Hey, y'all, I appreciate it. I'm just out here at the firehouse, chilling out on the Zello, and I'll be standing by. I hope you're all taken care of. Over.
All right, I copy that. You are chilling at the firehouse. Well, that glad to know that you've got a break between calls and an opportunity to unwind a little bit, because who knows what's coming, and hopefully you'll have a quiet evening and a quiet shift. But what are the chances of that? Appreciate you checking in with us, and like I say, I've heard you on the air several times this week. It's nice to hear all of the activity through the day. I wish I could jump on the radio and participate during the working hours, but I have to just accept the fact that it's a privilege and a luxury to be able to monitor as much as I've been. So good to hear you on the air, and it's good to hear you this evening, and appreciate your service there at the firehouse. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 403, Bobby in Florida. What's happening, Bobby?
Oh, hey there, Justin. Good to hear from you. I'm getting broken signals on Bella tonight, so I hope you can hear me better than I can hear you. I'm only getting about 50% of what you're saying. It cuts you off halfway through your conversation. I don't know what's going on. But everything's good down here. A couple of real hellacious storms, and just want to say hi to all the new members out there. Since I've been down in Florida, I've had a lot of new people on the air. I think that's really cool. I can throw it back to you.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think it's been fantastic hearing all the new people on the air, all of the new radio traffic, all the new activity on the Facebook page, and the questions and the ideas, and it's just been a lot of fun seeing all of this energy come to the airwaves, and we sure appreciate that, and we appreciate the participation. And yeah, I'm not sure what the story is with Zello. Hopefully you're able to pick up audio from the live stream tonight. And, you know, the last report that I had from you was that the audio on the live stream was good. I'm going to trust that that is the case. So hopefully you can monitor off of that. And one of these days, I don't have a date, but I can tell you, we we have efforts underway to move off of the Zello platform onto a more customized vehicle for voice over internet. We expect big things out of this, but it's still being developed, it's still being tested, it's not ready for prime time, and COVID-19 has impacted the development significantly. So along with everything else, this is just one of those things that should have been in place by now. We should have at least been through beta testing and ready to release it very, very soon, but we're not there, and we're just going to have to make do with what we have. And for the time being, Zello is what we have. So many of you have noticed that I no longer refer to our VoIP as Zello, and that's basically just in preparation for what is to come, and we're looking forward to that. So no dates. We just, we don't know what this is going to, what this COVID-19 thing is going to do, and how long it's going to last. A lot of people think that once we get past November, everything will magically come to life, and I hope it doesn't take that long. So we'll see what happens. All right, Bobby. Well, keep us posted, and looking forward. I hope that your timeline for returning to Georgia still holds, and maybe later this month you'll be able to check in on RF. We don't have to worry about Zello with you anymore, so that'll be good stuff. All right, Bobby, with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Next on my list, our one and only youth check-in is Atlanta 136 Aiden from Tucker. How you doing tonight, Aiden?
You already know who it is. This is Atlanta 136. I've been doing pretty well tonight. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. And shout out to all the new members. Hope everyone's doing great tonight and having a good evening. Nothing much to check up on so far about me. We do have some storms coming in a little later. But I'm going to be finishing up my second week of school tomorrow. So it's definitely been a little journey here, getting used to everything online and virtual, but that's really about it for me. I forgot to always say, there's this little pond in my backyard, so I always feed my bluegill that I caught a few months ago, so I always feed them every day. But they're getting pretty big. Back to net control.
Oh, that's very cool. You'll have to take some pictures of the fish and let us all enjoy that. Maybe a short video of you out there feeding them. That could be fun to see. When I grew up out on a farm, it wasn't until I guess maybe in my probably in my 20s, I guess they dug a pond out there on the farm, and we had a lot of fun with that pond for the first several years. We put a beach on one end of it and had a real nice gradual beach that went out deeper and deeper into the pond. And then at the far end of the pond, it was about 14, 15 feet deep. There was a geothermal loop in the bottom of that pond, which is why the pond existed. But nonetheless, it was stocked with fish, and it was a lot of fun. And holy cow, we had a lot of good times out there in and on and around the pond. And but a small pond like that, if it's not maintained properly, the fish get a little bit out of hand, and they breed and they breed and they breed, and they make a lot of little hungry fish. And it got to the place where it was like swimming with piranha. They would try to bite and eat whatever got in the water, and we we just had a heck of a time. So that was quite the adventure. That was about 3 or 4, maybe 5 years into that pond's existence. So who knows what you'll get with those bluegill in that pond. If you keep them in there long enough, you may end up with quite a mess. So that could be fun stuff. But love to see some video or a few pictures of those fish. And, back to school, Aiden, there's 2 high schools right here by us that have closed because of some COVID-19 concerns. Etowah High School and Woodstock High School are both right here in our backyard. and both schools ended up suspending in-classroom sessions at least until the end of the month. So I assume that means that they're making all of the students attend online. So that might be an advantage that you started off that way, because your schedule and your program and your routine won't be interrupted to start one thing and then stop and then do something else. So good luck with that. And I heard you talking that you get a little bit of a break in the midweek there. So congratulations on that, and also like to encourage you to study and take advantage of that time and go ahead and get your ham radio license. That would be good stuff. All right, Aiden, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Next on my list is Atlanta 40, John in Alpharetta. John was in and out tonight, but I appreciate you checking in with us this evening, John. That brings us next to Atlanta 253, Donald in Blairsville. Donald, how are you this evening? All right, Donald in Blairsville. I think you checked in on Zello. And all right, well, I think that Donald may have checked in on Zello, and I wanted to give him a nice big break to be able to get that push to talk to work on the Zello app, but we're not hearing from Donald. So Donald, if you're still trying to check in with us, I'd love to have a conversation with you. So stick around, and when we get to the tail end, I'll see if I can get you in here with us. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 420, William in Roswell. Good evening, William. What's happening with you?
Good afternoon there, Jeff. I was out here picking some tomatoes there before the other people got their chat started. And I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes right now, but I did want to check in and apologize to all our new members for my absence here for a while. But I've been enjoying the QSOs and the conversations going out there. And I'm sure we'll have to reiterate the net call-ins and the technique for logging into the net there to make sure we don't step on each other there. But definitely, we love hearing the new voices, and keep it up there. Over.
Oh yeah, and as far as the absence goes, that's life. I mean, we all have situations that come up that keep us from being able to participate on the net at times. In fact, now that you mention it, here later in the month, my daughter will be visiting from Indiana, and we will be absent on the week that she is here. So we will have someone fill in for us for that particular week. We don't have that ironed out yet, but it happens, and that's okay. We don't have a minimum number of net sessions that you have to attend. We love to have you here, but we understand you can't be here all the time. And yeah, despite the way things went with the check-ins this evening, I think we got everybody. And yeah, so I mean, when you hear somebody say this is, and they let go of the key, they're not forfeiting the radio to the next person to check in. They're checking to see that they're not stepping on someone. So that process is, it's a matter of courtesy. So when someone comes and they key the mic and they say this is, they let go of the mic to hear, and if they hear someone else checking in, they'll yield so that whoever it is that is checking in doesn't get stepped on. But conversely, when you hear somebody say that, you should wait until they've completed their check-in before you key. So I don't know what everybody hears, in that process. I just know what I hear, and I heard the process work exceedingly well. That's what I was impressed with, was that even when the people that came on with the "this is" and then waited, um, they didn't just go ahead and march forward with their check-in and step on whoever it was that snuck in there. So, it was a little bit trying, I suppose, in terms of patience and all of that, but folks did a fantastic job, and you were definitely one of them. So just want to acknowledge that. And from my perspective, it went really, really well. The other thing that does is it slows things down enough that I could actually keep up with check-ins this time. So, there's that. I call that a bonus. But appreciate that, William, and glad to have you in here. Next on my list, I had Noonan 25 Joe in Fayetteville. Joe and Mary Catherine were short time tonight, but we're glad they were able to make it in here. And I'm sure if they have the opportunity here in a little while, they'll chime in. Just depends on what all they've got going on. They are busy, busy, busy radio people, so we just appreciate whatever we can get out of them. Next on my list is Somerville 10 Alex in Canton. Alex, it's great to hear from you this evening. How are things on the deck with the portable?
Too well, Justin, with my location and all. First and foremost, how am I making it in all right?
Oh, you sound fantastic. Come on.
Fantastic. Well, if you would, can you please provide me with what week your daughter is going to be in town? I'd like to volunteer to run the net that evening, that Thursday. And additionally, had a very strenuous day at work. Wasn't expecting it, but I ended up spending 3 hours potholing and looking for buried pole boxes with 4160 at 4,160 volt underground power, where we had a tap go bad, and ended up finding a concrete fiberglass composite box that had been pretty much vaporized in ground. So we found the tap, got that all done, and I ended up making it home on time this evening. So enjoying my evening now, sitting on the deck, watching a movie on the porch, got the pig at my feet, and ate a couple steaks, and got a cold one in my right hand. So I'm loving life there, brother, and everyone's sounding good tonight. Net control, you're sounding great. Lots of check-ins and good quality net going on here so far. So we'll pass it back to you, Justin, and come back to me with that date that you need a alternate NCS.
Excellent. Yes, I will engage you in an offline conversation, probably on the telephone, most likely tomorrow, and we'll get all of that sorted out. We've got lots of resources available for the guest net controllers. We have a pool of about, I don't even know how many we've got. I'm going to say somewhere approaching a dozen qualified guest net controllers. So, of course, some of the people in that group, one in particular has an opportunity to pursue a master's degree. So that's going to take that individual out of the pool for about a year. But that person has asked to remain, in the mailing list and stay in a loop and so forth. So we're going to do that. So I've got an email list. I've got a bunch of links to some of the things that we use. I'll share the net control log that we use, and of course, with all of that, these resources are available to our guest net controllers, but they're not required. If you choose to log in some other fashion, that's just fine. Alex, you're more than qualified, so we would love to have you step in and fill in as a guest net controller coming up real soon. So yeah, I'll definitely be in contact with you about that. And interesting stuff, 4160. That'll leave a mark, and I would definitely be very, very reluctant to involve myself with 4160. On the railroad, we had some 440 pole line years ago. We don't have any of it anymore. It's all been removed. But we would supply some of our signal bungalows with power using 440 and step-down transformers, and that stuff would leave a mark. So fortunately, we don't have any of that out there anymore. All of our power is supplied in very, very conventional manners now. almost all of it is commercially supplied. We do have a handful of locations that are powered with solar and or fuel cells. Places where we can't get commercial power, we have things of that nature. So fuel cells are interesting, but they're such high maintenance. They require at least monthly. Sometimes you have to deal with them every couple of weeks. So they just don't last as long as you'd like them to. But cool stuff, Alex. Glad you were able to complete your work and make it home on time. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 170, Jesse in Lilburn. Jesse, did you make it home on time?
Hey, yes, sir. Hello to you and hello to the rest of the net. Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, when you get out here and start at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, on time typically comes around lunchtime or maybe a little bit earlier. But, yeah, today was one of those days. Tomorrow's a normal start, so I had some time this evening and just basically wanted to check in with you guys and say hello.
Well, it's great to hear from you, and yeah, I know you've had a series of schedule changes that have just been tough to coordinate and make it on the net because of the crazy schedules that you've had to keep throughout the year, throughout the COVID-19 stuff that you had to deal with earlier in the year, and then just your regular work that you're doing now and your early morning starts. Beating the heat, but I don't know. Are you really beating the heat? I suppose some of it. You're probably staying out of the worst of the heat, but you're not avoiding all of it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're avoiding the worst of it, but mostly it's just logistics. I mean, we're getting there before they get busy and getting out, when they start their days. So yeah, it's been a crazy year. I'll be happy when we get back to something else.
Sure enough. And yeah, it's a kind of a season too when it comes to industry. You got to make hay when the sun shines. In the industrial world right now, you just can't pass any opportunity, and that's kind of the way that we've been approaching business and work. Is that make sure that you keep the customer satisfied and happy, because it's a really challenging time, especially for manufacturing and heavy industry. It is a particularly challenging time to keep everybody active and employed and safe. So with that, Jesse, hope that you're able to stay safe, and appreciate you having the opportunity to check in. It's always great to hear from you. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 57, Andrew in Holly Springs. You staying busy over there, Andrew?
Good evening, Justin, and everyone in the net. Oh, gosh, yes. You'd never know there's been anything going on with how busy we've been. It is probably busier now than it was before all of this. So I don't know what flipped the switch or what's going on, but service has been unbelievably busy. Evidently, new car sales and used car sales have just been exploding as well. So, yeah, I'm not going to complain. I'll definitely say that because I'll definitely take it, because you never know what's going to happen coming up. So I'm definitely blessed to have it going on. And, of course, along with that, family's still healthy. Everyone is good. So, yeah, we're gonna keep on marching on.
Well, that's really interesting stuff. And when this thing first started to affect businesses, a lot of the auto manufacturers were looking at shutting down. And I think that part of that was because we didn't quite know what to expect and how things were going to work in the industrial world. And part of it was probably due, I would say probably the bigger part of it was due to increasing inventories. We were having to figure out new and unique places to put new cars because dealership lots were full, chock full, and all of the typical ordinary storage places were full. And we were getting to the place where rail cars had become inventory storage for automotive manufacturers. We couldn't move cars because we didn't have any empty cars to put them on. But that was a problem that we had for about a 2-week-long period. But you know, the shutdown in the automotive industry satisfied a big part of that oversupply, and I think most of the automotive world is back into full production now. I know that from our industry, the automotive sector is gangbusters. That business is the strongest, probably the single strongest element of the freight that we're moving. So interesting stuff. Glad to know that you're busy enough to make ends meet, and that you have some security there. So good stuff. Glad to hear from you, and looking forward to further adventures from Club 215. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 180, Mike in Cherry Log. Mike, how are you doing this evening? Hope we get some good modulation out of you to break through some of that noise.
Listen, I have learned not to count on it, but it might happen. I've had a good day working on analog brakes, tie rod ends, going to town, arguing with people about face masks. Currently, I'm installing a new operating system and a keyboard and a laptop. But yeah, it's been a good day. I hope yours has also. Over.
Excellent modulation and a good copy on all of that. Working on anti-lock brakes and tie rod ends, and I suppose that means an alignment is coming up real soon. And a new operating system and a keyboard on a laptop. I think I also heard you talk about arguing about face masks. Well, you know, that's a period of our lives that I hope will pass real soon. I personally am tired of the whole thing, but must still endure it. So I guess that's where we're at. You know, interesting enough, just prior to the net on the machine next to me where we do the live streaming from, I was trying to name the live stream for this evening with the correct date and information associated with that, and certain keys, certain characters just wouldn't come up. And I type something, I have to go back and retype it, and go back and retype it, and so the M key didn't work. The B key seems like the only time the B would work is if it was capitalized. There were other keys that didn't seem to be working with consistency. I have no idea why. But I was able to replace that keyboard. Had to crawl underneath the desk and fish wires through. After doing all of the audio troubleshooting and replacing cables and stuff that I did there, I worried that in the process of changing out that stupid keyboard, I would mess something up. But I think so far we're doing pretty good. But I have a used keyboard somebody can have real cheap. Appreciate all of that, Mike. Glad to hear from you, and look forward to hearing more of your adventures from Cherry Log real soon. Next on my list is Atlanta 175, Ken in Canton. Ken also had a tough time hearing you, so hope that you can give us some good modulation and break through that noise.
Yes, sir. This is
that's much better.
Ken, Atlanta 275. But I just want to know if you upset Julie is why we didn't have net last week. I'm just kidding. I know it was a technical difficulty. I was just would like to know what happened.
Well, in fact, there was a net last week, but we did have a very technically challenging evening. And it all started when, probably about 6 or 6:30 in the evening. I was getting ready to set up the live stream, and YouTube had changed some things about the way the web-based interface works. And typically I would get everything set up and I would turn on the stream and I could preview the quality of the audio and video into YouTube so I would know what that was going to look like when it went out into the world before I ever pressed the go live button. So I could know what kind of audio and video I was going to be serving without actually serving any. And well, they've changed that. Now as soon as I begin to stream to the interface, it goes live. And I don't get the opportunity to preview anything. So as I was getting ready to set that up, Julie told me dinner was ready, so I hit the button, knowing that I could come back and hit the go live later. I didn't realize the whole time I was having dinner that there was a live stream happening. There was nothing in the room. It was just a camera looking at a doorway and the junk on the floor, and whatever audio was being picked up by the radios was being passed through the live stream, but that was it. And it was kind of embarrassing after dinner when I came in here and saw that it had been live streaming that whole time. Well, in looking to what that live stream was and playing part of it back, I could hear a terrible, terrible hum, buzz, noise in that audio. And then I noticed that terrible, terrible hum was also in my feed going to the radio. I'm going to break. So we did some troubleshooting and tried to determine just what the source of that hum was, and we'd had no success. And realized it was time to quit troubleshooting, and we're going to have to set the live stream off to the side and just go on the air. And so to make sure that things were working despite the issues that we have with the audio going into the radios, I did a quick little radio check, and I got no answer. And so I switched radios, and using a hand mic on the standby radio, I asked for another radio check, and I got no answer. And so at that moment, I was in a bit of a panic, wondering if in the process of troubleshooting, I had inadvertently disconnected something and broken my my radio station, because I've got two good radios here and neither one of them were working. So in a panic, I decided to go to a known good broadcasting location so that I could be sure that I could get out on the net and that we could hold a net. It would be a challenge, but we had to do something, and so Tim, Atlanta 123, was here to assist that evening, and so the two of us went out to the truck, set up a laptop to do logging on, and we conducted the net from the truck. And it was 8 minutes after 8. I had just finished the preamble, asking for Zello check-ins and didn't get any, asking for guests and visitors and didn't get any, and asking for Pine Log check-ins and didn't get any. And I thought, holy cow, is this radio broken too? Stand by, let me break. But we switched over and found out there was traffic and activity on Sassafras, so we started at the very beginning, and we held the net on Sassafras. So we did have some technical difficulties. We had a major outage with the Pine Log repeater, but we were able to get that repeater back up and running over the weekend, and here we are now. So it was a blunder of technical errors. The biggest one of them being the one right behind the microphone right now. So how was your week, Ken?
I had a pretty experience that you check in. This week has been very chaotic and hectic, and ready for the weekend. How about you? I'm out.
Yeah, I copy that. I saw a Facebook meme very early in the week, and it said, "Next week has been exhausting." You know, that really speaks volumes, because I anticipated a pretty challenging week this week, and that's what I've gotten. So, but we're most of the way there, and I'm looking forward to wrapping things up tomorrow. I'm about a day behind in my work, which is way better than where I started the week off at. So if I can get most of it caught up tomorrow, I've got a big cutover project coming up on Monday, but all the pieces for that are already in place, so that'll be okay. I think I'll be able to get caught up probably by midweek next week. So I feel a lot better about my week today than I did coming into it on Monday morning. But almost over. We're almost there, and we'll have a weekend to enjoy. So appreciate that, Ken. It was great hearing from you, and hope Kirby is doing well. And looking forward to hearing from him sometime soon. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 261, Scott in Holly Springs. Scott, how are you doing this evening?
Thank you, Net Control. Yes, we're doing fine over here. My better halves are up Netflixing, so we stepped out on the front porch. Everybody sounds good. It's good to hear Alex 10 and Andrew and everybody, and of course Mr. Jesse, if he can hear me. Just checking in, and as my neighbor walks her dog around, and she's looking at me really crazy. Awesome. So we'll let you go. This will be Atlanta 261 WRCT 399. Clear.
All right. You know, when my neighbors walk by, they look at me kind of crazy too. But that's got nothing to do with me and my radio hobby. That's just because of all the other things that happen to go on around here. So we're used to that. That's nothing new for me. But appreciate hearing from you, and got all of the 260 group in the log here. Understand they're not going to be available for coming on the air due to other priorities, but that's okay. Glad to have them in the log, and be sure and let everybody know that we appreciate them being here. So with that in mind, next on my list is going to be Atlanta 36, who has checked in from the Taylor's Ridge Machine. Bill, how you doing this evening?
Evening and good evening to the net. Easy day, did the yard. Yesterday had H2O drama. Awakened to a utility person telling me I had a geyser of water on my side of the meter. Operative words, my side. So, had to replace a section of pipe within the meter box. Tedious work, but got it accomplished. So, pretty much just happy to have the comforts of home, including running water.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I tell you, water issues are something that 947 and I have experienced more times than we ever want to. Fortunately, your issue was outside of the home. It seems as though most of the time when we have a water issue, it's inside the home. But, water, you got to have it. You got to have it. So glad that you have your water restored. And but yeah, that's the beginning of a bad day right there. And I tell you, every time that I've had a project that's involved, plumbing, it's just one of those things that it never goes the way that I envision it going. It always becomes more complicated, more expensive. And you get into the, well, that doesn't look so bad, I think I can do that myself, to the man, I should have called somebody. So I tell you, the last time I had a plumbing issue around here, I did call somebody, and I'm glad of it. Somebody came out here and did a fantastic job and quality work, and was able to utilize skills and knowledge and experience that I just wouldn't have had. So I really do appreciate that, Scott. Thank you very much for your work around here. Next on my list is Atlanta 350, Jim in Cedartown. Jim, how you doing this evening? Glad you're able to stick around with us for a while. Jim usually checks in and out because he's got grandkids to deal with, and that may be the case this evening. Well, Jim may have checked in and out, and I didn't catch that. I know that Jim very often has grandkids that he has to take care of in the evenings, and that might be what he's up to at the moment. So I'm going to just go ahead and move on and let Jim off the hook. Jim, if you do want to check in with us, please feel free to jump in here in a few minutes when I open up the floor. Next on my list is Atlanta 438, Garrett in Monument Falls. How you doing up there in the shadow of the Sassafras repeater?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing well. Actually, I'm back on my little mobile base station right now. My wife and I decided to take a walk down the mountain, so get some fresh air and get some exercise. Everything's doing well. Nothing really new to report. I have a possible trip to Southeast Asia. I'm banking on regarding our business. I wish I could say the same with our business. Luxurious spending has just about been halted on all different facets currently with my clientele and my demographic that I serve. So with that being said, it pleases me to hear some of the other people calling in that business is great and doing well. Of course, in our case, it's not so much, but I'm trying to keep optimistic regarding that. One thing I have noticed is through this COVID-19, you have really seen companies that have stepped up and have either stood behind their product or their guest relations. With that case point, I had a Comet, a GP9 that got waterlogged, and it was not my fault. I guess it was just a manufacturing defect on the connection links there. So the company sent me out, and I received it today. They sent me a Diamond X700 H&A in replace of. And they didn't charge me the difference. So what that's telling me is that, of course, this company is Giga, and I've spent a fair amount of money with them in the past couple months. But it's just reiterating to me about our capitalistic society and how businesses continue to strive to keep customers happy versus, we're seeing a lot of closures. So with that being said, I am trying to keep optimistic, and this Ned and everybody around me has given me some sort of resonance, if you will, or ambivalence to keep a positive mind. Over.
Yes, I hear all of that. And Southeast Asia sounds like an amazing opportunity. I hope that comes together for you. And as a business trip, I hope that becomes a lucrative opportunity. And, you're not the first that I've heard have tales of issues with parts or material from Gigaparts, have a problem, and then have Gigaparts come back and go the extra mile to make it right. It's one thing for a company to do the bare minimum and replace a bad part or do that basic function of satisfying the customer in terms of finalizing that original transaction in whatever way is necessary. But I've heard on more than one occasion that Gigaparts is one that they're not interested in just making it square. They want to make you happy. And so that is refreshing. That's a refreshing way of dealing with a company. And so I have done some business with Gigaparts and will continue to do business with them. But that's nice to hear. And I suppose there's probably a lot of aspects of our economy that are not doing as well as others. I heard on the news today, or maybe it was yesterday, that the big national chain restaurants are suffering. And my initial thought is I don't want any business to suffer through this. So, that is unfortunate. And we're definitely not 947 and I are not eating out nearly as much as we would be otherwise. But when we do eat out, we are absolutely, positively, and unchangingly going to eat at local restaurants. We're going to support our neighbors first and foremost. I know our neighbors are also working at those national chain restaurants, but I'm sorry. I've got to take my dollars to my local businesses first. I really want to support that. I'd really sooner, we've got these small grocery chains in the area. Now they're still national chains there, but I feel a lot better about buying my stuff from these smaller places than I do from Kroger or from Walmart. I tell you, the produce really isn't that good at Walmart. So, I don't care to buy much. I mean, if it didn't come in a cardboard box, I'm probably not going to buy it from Walmart when it comes to food. My spending at Walmart has diminished tremendously just because of the nature of what they sell and where they source. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing is, as a small business or as a business in the luxury side of things, I truly believe that once we get past this COVID-19 issue, there's a pent-up demand for a lot of services and a lot of product, and I think that, if you want to stand in the way of the economy, you're going to get run over. That demand is going to come on strong and fast, and folks that are ready will be able to take advantage of it. But, I just got to get through between now and whenever that is, because when is that? So I hear you. I hope that things go well enough for you in Southeast Asia that you can bridge the gap and make it through the other side. So appreciate all of that. Next on my list I have Noonan 29 Marty in Tyrone. Marty, what happened to the mailbox? Well, Marty, you got to tell us about the mailbox. Oh my golly. Well, I don't think we're going to hear about the mailbox. All right, we must have caught Marty at a moment of inattention. So I think what we'll do is move on to Tim in Stockbridge, and we'll hope that Marty can come back and tell us all about his mailbox adventures here in a little bit. So next on my list is McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge. Tim, what have you got going on?
Well, not a lot actually going on, Justin. Just another day in the salt mine, so to speak. Still working over at the trailer park, painting some outdoor decks and porches and things like that, and trying to stay cool whenever I can. So just sitting here enjoying the air conditioning tonight, listening to everyone talk on the net, and don't have anything interesting to say except for my sister, who lives in Montana, been divorced for about 3 years now, maybe going on 4, and she met a guy online, turned out to be a pastor of a church, and they got married in a record time of 10 days.
Wow.
And they live 4 hours apart, so that'll be an interesting story. Whenever I can figure out how to condense all that down into a story short enough to tell on the air here, maybe I can get that across one day. But pretty interesting story, and so we'll get to that one of these days there, Roger.
Well, that's fascinating. I definitely want to hear the particulars of that, but I can imagine that could be a long story, and but I'm sure you can hone your storytelling skills and condense that into the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net Edition. So I look forward to hearing that from you. Glad to know that you've been able to stay busy. You know, it has been some tough weather out there. I understand we've got some cooler weather coming, but I don't know if it's going to be dry enough to work in. So there is that. Looks like we're looking forward to a wet weekend. So I hate that that's going to dampen a lot of plans, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, love to hear the story from your sister. So if she comes to visit, maybe you can have her come on and tell us. I'd love to have a guest. And since she's your sister, she's covered under your license. So that would be fantastic. Next on my list is CW15. I just barely heard that check-in. So if that indeed was the correct check-in, David, I hope that you'll come on and talk good and loud into that microphone. Give us some little extra modulation to break through the noise. Okay, and I'm not hearing anything from David, so maybe he was in and out and I just didn't hear it. So with that being the case, the end of my list ends right here at Atlanta 780, Houston in Austell. Houston was in and out with us this evening, so we'll have to wait until next time to hear about Houston's adventures on the radio. So that brings me to the end of the list. Now we had a couple of folks. We had Atlanta 253 Donald in Blairsville that we missed. We had Jim in Cedartown that we missed, and Marty in Tyrone. So if any of those folks have additional comments for the net, or if we have any late check-ins, or any comments in general, the floor is open. Please call Net Control now.
This is Atlanta 123, WRFP 619, Tim in Woodstock, Georgia.
Okay, Net Control is going to acknowledge our 2 late check-ins. Of course, they made it in, so they're not too late. But first we have Atlanta 911, Cassandra in Woodstock. Thank you, Cassandra, for checking in with us this evening. Looking forward to hearing of your adventures in New England. And we also have Atlanta 123, Tim in Woodstock, honing his radio experiences and learning about 2-meter radio. So fantastic, Tim. Glad you're able to make it in here. Atlanta 911, I'm going to go to you next, but you're going to have to speak nice and loud into that radio. We're just barely hearing you. So stand up straight and make a big noise.
All right. Well, are you hearing me now? Because I'm kind of shouting into the radio.
Yes, we are hearing you now. And once you get that bass installed, you'll be good to go.
I am back from my adventure, so I just want to say a huge shout out to Justin and Julie for keeping my sweet baby girl. Jessie, she's happy to be home, but was happy to visit you guys, and had a great time in Maine and driving up the entire East Coast, taking lots of pictures. I probably have about 7,000 pictures to go through. And
wow.
Just got back in and checked my garden, so I'm going to take a break here real quick. But I checked my garden, and it looks like you and Julie missed a few veggies, because I have some okra that are larger than my radio. And I've got a bunch of beans over there for me, because some of them are dying, but I'll be having some beans this weekend.
Well, I can. Yeah, let me get this microphone back where it's supposed to be. I can tell you for sure I didn't miss any of the vegetables. So if any of them were missed, that would have been 947. But we do appreciate the opportunity that for you to share that produce with us while you were gone, so it didn't go bad. And Julie has put a lot of it to use. So yeah, I can't explain what was missed because I didn't pick any vegetables. Not the first single one. Not me. That's not what I did. I did pick up a little bit of garbage and clean up a little bit. Just tidying things up in a very small way. But other than that, I was just wrangling dogs when we were over there and breaking into the house and messing with the air conditioning controls. Other than that, not much to report from our adventures over in your part of Woodstock. But I do appreciate not one, but 2 bottles of rum. That was very cool. I appreciate the thought. And not one, but 2 bacon maple donuts from Wegmans. So thank you very much for that. And I don't even have any idea what you brought back for 947. I wasn't a part of that conversation this evening, but we will certainly enjoy these fine gifts. So thank you very much for that.
Well, you are very welcome, and no worries on the produce. They will go to good use. I planted a huge garden this year, as many know, and I left town just as a lot of it was coming into harvest. My friends that were watering my garden got to enjoy the fruits of my labor there. And Julie was able to get some wine, local wine from Maine, and some, I don't know if it was seltzer or some cider or something or other, and she got a beautiful painting, so I'm sure she'll show that to you later. But anyways, I'm glad to be home, and we'll catch up when you guys get back from your adventure this weekend.
Oh yeah, she did show me the painting, and I was just kidding when I said bring back a lighthouse, but that is indeed what you did. So that was very cool. I have no idea where she's going to hang that. When it comes to things like that, she's pretty good at very tastefully decorating this place. So, I mean, the spaces that she decorates are decorated very tastefully. The spaces that I decorate have, QSO in progress, keep the door closed kind of stuff. So, but we definitely have a difference in how we go about that. So I have no idea where she's going to put that, but I'm sure it's going to look great no matter where she does. So I saw the painting. It's very, very cool. So thank you for that. And you did bring a lighthouse back. That was pretty neat. I kind of figured you'd bring like photographs of a lighthouse back, but the painting that was an extra touch. So good stuff. Well, I'm glad you made it back safe and sound, and sounds like we'd left enough veggies in your garden that you can eat next week. So good for you. And if you're thirsty, I've got rum. So you can eat, you can drink, and you can be merry. We can make it all happen. So glad to have you back, and look forward to hearing of your next crazy adventure. And yeah, once you get that base radio installed over there, and I can come over and give you a hand if you need, you should have no problem sitting comfortably in a chair and hitting the repeater from your location. So let's make that happen real soon and improve the quality of your audio. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 123 Tim in Woodstock. Tim is our last check-in so far. So, Tim, how you doing this evening?
Hey, Justin, I'm doing well. Been playing radio most of the day, as you know, trying to get this 2-meter stuff. Hoping to reach out to the Coweta repeater out there. I've been moving the antenna around the attic about a foot at a time, and it's amazing how much that little difference can make in the placement of the antenna in the attic. I guess that insulation up there is not really good for the antenna. But I found a sweet spot that I could transmit from, but I can't receive that very well on it. I have to listen on Echo Link. But other than that, nothing too exciting. I did want to give a shout out to Atlanta 911. Julie had told me about her photography interest, so I checked out her Facebook page, and it looks like she may be an acquaintance with my aunt, who was in real estate at one time, Jennifer Pierce. She is my aunt. She's down in Alabama now. But other than that, I'll turn it back over to Net Control.
It's, you know, the whole small world bit where we find out that we have connections with people we didn't realize we have connections with. I don't think anybody's going to beat Andrew's story. His small world story is remarkable. It is truly remarkable. But that's a story best told by Andrew. He did tell it on the air one evening, but we'll have to come up with a reason for him to tell that story again, because it's worth hearing. But yes, you know, and it's kind of funny too, because I have other people that I know through work and through the radio community that know associates that circle back to Atlanta 911. So I think what that really boils down to is that she's been in and around Atlanta enough, and she's just a busybody, and she's in everybody's business and everybody's face. So everybody knows who she is, and that's why it seems like she's in a very small world. But I don't know. 911, do you have any comments?
Yeah, you're such a brat. Yes, I do know Jennifer, and the funny thing is Alex reached out about right before I left town, and he said that one of his in-laws is in real estate with me as well. So small world, but yes, if anybody wants to take a look at the pictures, though, that Facebook page is Cassandra's View Through the Lens, and I don't have a lot of pictures up from my trip, but I do have a few up there. I'll be editing them over the next few weeks. And if they're in real estate in Cherokee County, chances are I know them.
Well, look out, world. Well, do us a favor when you get a minute, and I know that you've just got home and you've got 1,000 things that you need to do, so you can put this on the back burner for now. But when you get a chance, go ahead and post a link to your Facebook page on the North Georgia GMRS page, and that way our folks will have an easy way to go find some of your photographs. And what will you take, a week or so before you have your main trip pictures up there? I don't know what that process is. Does it take longer than that?
I have about 40 of them up now. I try to get 2 or 3, 4 or 5 each night. But yeah, it's going to take me a couple months to go through most of them. But I'll have some of them up here in the next week or so.
Fantastic. All right. And, Tim, I got all kinds of excited listening to you on the Coweta County repeater this afternoon, because you were booming in there like you were right next to it. I mean, you sounded fantastic. You sounded better than many of the people that I hear that are down in Coweta County hitting that repeater. And I thought, holy cow, he has found the magic sweet spot, and he just sounds fantastic. And then I hear you mention Echo Link. Oh, man. You got me.
Hey, roger that. Well, I think that sweet spot I found for transmission, I can get in and communicate and hit it pretty well. But darn it, I just don't have the ears. That is so strange that I can get out that far and transmit, but I can't receive. But we'll try maybe using the Echo Link to receive and at least make an initial RF contact on the next net. Over.
Yeah, I copy that. I'm curious what radio you're using, and I wonder if the receive sensitivity is a function of that radio. If a different radio might hear better, don't really know.
Well, for that I was transmitting on the Yaesu FT2980R. That's the new 2-meter radio I got. It's a mobile. I'm using it as a base station. And I don't have anything else that can do the job because I am putting out the maximum wattage. It's an 80-watt radio, and my SureCom is telling me I'm actually putting out about 89 watts. So that's about the best I can do right now. Over.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think my highest power 2-meter radio is maybe 60 watts. I don't even know for sure, but I don't believe I have anything that would be anywhere near that. So, I'd offer up a radio for you to take over there to see if you had the receive function out of it, but it almost seems like it might not be worth it if it doesn't have the power. So I guess we'll just have to keep experimenting and see if we can find the right combination of location and orientation and sensitivity, and maybe at some point we can get enough gain out of an antenna to make it happen.
Hey, Roger that. I'm pretty much convinced it's the antenna at this point. If I could get one on the roof, a decent antenna, then I'll have no problem. It's just taking the time to get that all installed properly. So I will get there. It's a journey, and I'm having fun learning along the way. So I'll turn it back to net control and let you finish up the net, sir. Have a good evening.
All right. Well, that's fantastic. Well, and we are at the point where we could go either way with this thing. So I'm going to call one last time for any late check-ins or any comments. The floor is open, and we'll see what happens here. Call net control. All right. Well, we're at that place that I need to find that place in my script. Okay, hearing no late check-ins at this point and no additional comments, I think we can go ahead and call this one a wrap. So glad that you were all able to hang out with me this evening, and look forward to doing this again real soon. This concludes the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we had a total of 27 check-ins, including myself. Net control will now be returning the repeater back to normal use. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Thank you for allowing me to serve as your net control this evening. Good night, everyone. This is Atlanta 946, WQIR 514, clear. All right. I guess I'll leave these on here for a moment. Here's Bill checking out. Let's see here. All right, so it's my understanding that the audio on the live stream is good. The audio in here seems like it's good.
I'll be
So
clear. Good evening, everyone.
hopefully we have the gremlins worked out and we can reliably
Serverville 10 WQWW
live
603.
stream
Shoot me another 2157.
from this point moving forward. So that'll be good stuff. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and turn the radio down in this audio here. We'll still hear it. It just won't be as loud. And that's pretty much it for me this evening. Looking forward to next week, and we should have a live stream next week. The week following is when we'll have a guest net controller, and likely no live stream. So with that in mind, we'll talk with all of you on the YouTube channel very soon. Good night, everyone. Look forward to it. Seeing you again. Let's see. Why is that button not doing anything? There we go. That's the button I need to hit. Good night, everyone.